Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
And hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns, your Monday morning tight end on your Monday evening. I'm Marcus Dash, and tonight, it's a fun one. We'll be talking about all the signings we had today, and as well as we get into some of our prospect breakdown tonight, as well. We're beginning our 7-week show where each Monday, Teja, myself, and JD will pick out 3 guys and talk about 3 prospects in the upcoming NFL draft. However, tonight, since there's so many things to get to with the free agency, we're only going to be going over 2 guys each. JD is not going to be on tonight. JD's probably not going to be on this week again. So again, guys, JD is dealing with some family matters right now. And again, send all your love to JD. He's watching the show. And yeah, send your love and prayers. And honestly, DM him on Twitter if you have a Twitter and or X account. But yeah, JD will be back. I think probably next week he'll be back. But yeah, so I just want to say that send the prayers and love to JD and the Dunn family. Yeah, I miss JD too, Jeremy. But yeah, the group we should be all 3 of us together next week. I don't know, but nonetheless, I will be here this week and as well as always. But yeah, JD is going through some family stuff right now, so please send all your love to him. So tonight, before we get into like the free agents and our new additions, the guys we've been talking about for a long time this offseason, we'll also get in also before we get into the rookies and the prospects. Our sponsors, FanDuel, and Chief Concerns is always presented by FanDuel, but I did see some line movement already, and I love it. Chiefs obviously big splash moves today in bringing in Kenneth Walker and Tonga, if you have the tackle, solving 2 of our needs. But last week we were a number 2 team in the AFC West, but now we've jumped back up to being the number 1, the favorite in the AFC West. And yeah, the lines, Vegas is taking notice of that. The Chiefs finally have filled themselves with getting themselves a running back, a guy who can actually, be pretty dang good with like Kenneth Walker. And that was probably the biggest signing of the day, honestly. I mean, there's been a lot of signings today, but the Kenneth Walker signing was the big one. And now you have Patrick Mahomes, and you finally give him a 1,000-yard running back behind him for at least the next 3 years. And I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. I know a lot of people are. So a lot of people are excited about Kenneth Walker. I'm seeing some people in the chat aren't, but nonetheless, the Chiefs are now the favorite to win the AFC West again. You're going to see a lot of shifting over the next few weeks with the free agency and everything that's going on. So still, we are the 4th team in the AFC. We're behind the Chargers, actually, in the AFC. We're tied for the Chargers there. And as Super Bowl winner, we are pretty far down below there. But nonetheless, a lot of time and a lot of things to see. But yeah, guys, things are getting exciting out there, big time. I'm very excited about this one. Let's see who's in the chat tonight before we get into everything. I'm waiting for Teja. Teja should be on here. I don't know what the heck he's doing. I mean, I'm seeing he's texting in the group message like, what are you doing? You should be on here by now. So, okay, let's see who's in the chat tonight before we get into to break down the signings today. My guy, Yoo-Hoo4401. We have Kenny. It's on now. Welcome to the kingdom. I told y'all what made sense, and that's exactly happened on that deal. I mean, hey, if you've been watching the show, you've been seeing us make a case for Kenneth Walker and not other guys, right? The way I think I've said, we're not going to get Jeremiah Love because we got to get a veteran running back, a dude who who can get the job done right out the gate, just in case Mahomes' injury, and we did. So yeah, Sim McBride, we just put all our offensive eggs in one basket, completely wrecked the defense. Brilliant. We'll see. We'll see. I've seen a lot of people are kind of getting scared about our secondary right now. I'm going to hold off on that. And we'll talk about it in a second. Laura Zinzer, the draft is corner safety strong. I trust in Veach. I trust in Veach too. Secondary is one thing he knows how to get, so I do trust Brett Veach. Will Brett Veach, the nature boy, Ric Flair? Woo! Usually we need to trade pick 40 for BTJ and draft all defense. I mean, if we did that, I'd love that. So yeah, I'm on board with that. I've seen a lot of hypothetical trades out there for Brian Thomas Jr. and I would definitely be in on that. He had a bad year this year, but having him, he's got 2 years cost control contract. I would love that. So a couple of years on his rookie deal, still not getting paid anything. So yeah, I would sign me up for Brian Thomas Jr. And I do remember we actually had a lot of pre-draft love with Brian Thomas Jr. So we did like him. So that's huge. Yeah, usually I'm with you there, buddy. Jeremy Gallagher, feet should be on the hot seat. We could have got Fitzpatrick for a 6th. Yeah, I'm out on that, buddy. Walker was a bad okay, I've seen too much of that today. No. Walker was not a bad signing. People got to complain about a running back situation. So, we could have drafted one. Oh, yeah, could we? What, wait till round 2, round 3, some dude that we don't know anything about? Instead, we get a 25-year-old running back who's younger than some of the guys in this draft who's proven there and been there and done that. So, no, I'm good. I'm really happy with that signing. But Jeremy, hopefully, Kenneth Walker can prove you wrong. BTJ, Worthy, Rice, K9, and Kelsey is a Super Bowl, especially if we use the draft for the defense and get guys like Caleb Downs, etc. I'm in, man. I'm in. Usually laugh my ass off. Minka's old. We good off him, and Veach ain't overpay. That was the Robbie market. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end, who's 2 years older than him. Got paid like a million less than him for one more year. I mean, like we did a pretty good job getting Kenneth Walker there. Like for people to say we overpaid, I don't think so at all. That was the market. Like, I'm with you, UG. Yeah, no, 100%. We signed Walker at the expense of our whole defense. The Chiefs won't pay that kind of money for set positions. A ludicrous argument in 2026. But if you look at the Chiefs blueprint, we've done that for our secondary pretty much the entire time. Like we've been on this run. Snead was on his rookie contract. Trent McDuffie was on his rookie deal. Like we didn't really pay for any cornerbacks. Christian Fulton was getting paid probably more than what Snead or any of our top cornerbacks over the last few years. Safety wise, yes, we paid for Justin Reed and Matthew, but like if we do get Downs, that is paying for a safety. And Cook's been on a rookie deal. Cook was on a rookie deal last year and he was fine, and he was the highest paid safety this past year. So like spending money on defense doesn't necessarily mean like that you're getting out what you put into it. We needed to spend money on a running back because we've tried the bargain stuff with the running back and it ain't working. It just hasn't worked. However, we've tried the bargain with cornerbacks and secondary, and that's worked out perfectly. So, like, I'm happy with this at all. I really am. With Merritt and Spags, I think we can get the most out of our secondary guys, and we have done that. We really have. So, like, if it's one position I trust us to do that with, would be secondary. Running back, I don't trust us with that. So, like, I'm happy we did that today. I'm happy that we so-called, made expense of our whole defense, which is not true because we got a D tackle who's already an upgrade over what we had next to Chris Jones as far as a run stuffer, and actually pretty good pass blocking grade as well for Tonga. So our immediately an upgrade over Nadi, and I love Pinnell, but like as far as youth wise and productivity recently, Tonga was great. But like secondary wise, sure, we got a haul for McDuffie. We can maybe draft the secondary guy there. Jalen Watson. I'm good we didn't pay that money. They paid a lot of money for Jalen Watson, and he was a 7th round guy. I mean, like, we'll find these guys. Snead was a 4th round guy. We'll find these guys. I'm with we had Knowles on a couple weeks ago. Knowles looked good. Fulton looked good. Noah Williams looked good. If it was any position we actually got a good look at, and we talked about it a lot, we're like, we didn't get to see Bossa a lot at the end of the season. We didn't see what he could do. We didn't see Brashard Smith, what he could do, right? Like, you got that one game at the end of the season, but we never really saw him in a full capacity being the RB1. We did last week. But the last few weeks, we saw that with Noah Williams and Christian Fulton. And I said on the show, they look good. I said I'd be fine going in the next year with those guys being cornerback 1 and cornerback 2. And they look good. And they obviously, if each in the staff thinks, hey, like, we might have something here with this Noel and Christian Fulton and some of the other guys. And I'm not saying that's it. Like, just keep those 2 and that's it. No. I like those guys, and they look good at the end of the season. So again, I'm happy with our development with cornerbacks, and I think we'll be fine. And I do think we've tried to kick in the can with running back and maybe find a late round gem or a veteran who could come in. Ain't cutting it, Jeremy. Big news, fun day, Sasha. What's going on, Sasha? All right, so wow, there's a lot of people in the chat. Okay, well, Kathy Welsh, appreciate you, Kathy. You respect my points. I appreciate that. What about depth? We don't even have stars for the Russ. Jeremy, it's day one, man. It's day one. Yesterday, they could only make 5 calls. They had to let the league know who the 5 calls they made to yesterday. So, like, you weren't going to fill everything up. The only team that filled up stuff today was the Raiders because they had $100 million in cap and money they could spend. So that was the only team that really did anything. I don't think the Chargers have done anything. I don't think the Chargers signed Biotish the other day, and they signed Alec Ingold, but they haven't done anything. And they re-signed Khalil Mack. So, like, no need to be hyperbolic right now, Jeremy. Wait. I mean, let's celebrate who we got today, man. Let's celebrate who we got today. Which you all will be fine. Stop letting your anxiety control you. Exactly. Which all right, I'm gonna bring in Teja coming in here now. What's going on, Tej? Late? You're late, about 15 minutes late.
Yeah, dock my check.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard that, but Jeremy's already just upset that we haven't filled all of our holes. I mean, the things we did today don't even become like an actual move till Wednesday. So, like, relax.
Yeah, you're wrong. It's not even day one. It's like the pre-day. Day one's Wednesday. It's not even day one yet.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even officially our players yet.
No,
they're just like it's a handshake. That's all you got.
Yeah.
It's a handshake. So, like, it's not even day one.
So relax.
Yeah.
So let's kind of get into it. I've already kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's go. We have 3 moves to talk about before we get into the college prospects tonight. And yesterday we were talking, like, because usually every Monday from here on out we're gonna do 3 prospects each. So it'd be myself 3, Tasia 3, JD 3, so 9, and we pretty much get into it real fast. The last night we were talking, and I was like, let's just do 2 because I have a feeling we're gonna make some big moves tomorrow. And he's like, are you sure about that? I was like, I'm sure. I think we're going to jump on the running back, and I think we're going to get him tomorrow. Yeah, so we're going 2 tonight because we have 3 things to cover. So we'll begin with Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III has agreed to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. Walker's receiving a 3-year deal worth $43.05 million base value and a $28.7 million guarantees. What do you make of this move? I mean, we've been talking about it for the last few weeks in the show that Kenneth Walker was probably going to be the guy we're going to go to the top of the market. I know there's some stories out there that said the Chiefs are going to go for a $8 million guy, mid-tier dude. And I said no, because there's no chance that Jeremiah Love's going to get to 9. And then on top of that, we have a quarterback who's coming back from an ACL injury. You need to have a dude who can take the full load for the time being for the first 5 weeks of the season. And I don't think anybody can trust a running back to do that right away. And we saw the rookie running backs this past year. They couldn't do that. And Jeremiah Love, while he could be a special talent, I don't trust a rookie running back to do that right out the gate. And I don't think he's going to be there. And I think the signing of Kenneth Walker from the Chiefs and the signing of Travis Etienne from the Saints shows you that none of those teams outside the top 5 think that Jeremiah Love's going to get out of the top 5. So that is what they did. And I said you couldn't have a strategy where you kick the can on running back, hoping that Jeremiah Love is there at number 9. That's not a strategy. I knew Brett Veach was going to go for that, and I wouldn't have gone for that. And so they didn't. They went out, you know what? We need to get a legit dude, and they signed Kenneth Walker to this contract, the Super Bowl MVP to this contract, and I love it. So what are your thoughts on Kenneth Walker?
I'm a huge Walker fan. I've owned him in fantasy for many, many years, and I have been frustrated by the overall Seattle Seahawks usage of him. But I get it. They did not want to overwork him because he did get nicked up in his first couple years in the NFL. It's been less since Seattle has dialed back his touches. He's the highest graded running back in the NFL for PFF. People make a big deal of that as pass blocking. You know who was worse at pass blocking last year? Bijan Robinson. And I bet you people would not blink twice about bringing Bijan Robinson to be our running back next year. So for those same reasons, don't be upset about that because of pass blocking. And I was reading something with him. Who was talking about him recently? They were saying how they talked to him this offseason, and he's been all about the way he needs to improve, and he knows he needs to improve at pass blocking. So he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. He's got his head on straight, loves football, wants to get better, says the right things, takes care of his body. He's 25, got a lot of tread. I like that the Seahawks didn't overwork him. It's great for the next team that gets to sign him, right? Because a lot of teams, in the last year of a contract, they tend to just say, hey, if we're not going to re-sign this guy, let's ride him to the ground. They didn't do that with him because they had postseason aspirations and they wanted a fresh back in the postseason. Go figure. How does this relate to our team? I don't want to overwork him either because we're not just going to be, hopefully, an 18-week season team. We're going to be a 21, 22-week season team. So with that in mind, you don't want to overwork them. I'd still like to see, and I said this, I think a couple of months ago when we started doing these shows about the offseason, I would still like to draft a 5th-round bowling ball running back to take some of the brunt of those between the tackles. I don't think he should be in every single down back. I think he's got a lot to offer. But I think if you want the best of what we signed, then you don't want to overwork him. So don't fall into the trap of we paid him all this money, therefore we should need to give him the ball 50 times a game, even though it's to the detriment of him and to us. Don't do that. We paid that much money because of the best version of him. And the best version of him is not giving the ball 25 times a game. So I love it. I think it'll open up the passing game. I think our run blocking will finally look a lot better because you have a guy who can take advantage of those holes when they do come. You can't create holes every single time, but with Mahomes there, you're going to see lighter boxes, and I think our line can open up enough of a hole for that guy to break 10-yard runs, which is a very big specialty of his.
Yeah, I mean, the 10-yard runs and the big plays, that's something we haven't had in a while. And I guess it's someone in the chat said best running back we've had since Charles. You can make the argument that the first 2 years of Kareem Hunt was the best running back we've had in a while, right? Because the first 2 years of Kareem Hunt were pretty fun. But yeah, I mean, the explosive plays, and I see too a lot of Chief fans. And I think people just want to pour cold water on things. Be happy, right? We just went out and signed the MVP of the Super Bowl. A guy who, people could be complaining about a running back situation. We solved that. Brett Veach came out and said, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to get a guy so we can shut our mouths about a running back. And we did that. Sure, he's had groin injuries in the past. That's been a big thing for him over the last few years. And the one thing I do love about this too, it's let's say we signed a mid-tier guy, right? Let's say that one of the reports was the $8 million deal, whatever. So Algier, which I think he had $6 million this year or today.
6.5.
So let's say that was it. It was the Algier move. Now you sign Tyler Algier to that money. It's okay, well, there's a good chance we might not give him a lot of touches, just like how we usually do with our running backs, give him 11 carries and that's it for the game. Now, when you spend money like they did with Kenneth Walker, they're going to get the best bang for the buck from this guy. And I do think they're going to utilize him a lot more than Seattle did. I do think he's going to get a lot of touches. And it's not going to be one of those things I hope Andy runs him. And I've seen a lot of people, Chief fans today, say we spent all this money for a running back that we're not going to use. It's well, that's the thing. Because they spent this money and they finally put a lot of investment into the running game, you best believe they're going to utilize him. So I don't think it's a matter of he's not going to get a lot of touches. I do think Kenneth Walker's going to get a lot of love. And other people talking his pass catching ability. I mean, it's not a bad pass catcher. They just didn't do it a lot in Seattle with him. And I do think you're going to a team with Andy Reid who schemes up screens like nobody's business. I do think he's going to get a lot of love in the passing game too. So I do think there's a lot of sure, has he not shown it yet in his career? No. But I do think he's finally going to a offensive guru. And I know people want to say Clint Kubiak's his offensive guru. Sure, he looked good this year. But as far as being able to be utilized to his full potential, I think Andy Reid can do that and utilize him in that way that he hasn't been utilized yet in his career. And I do think the sky's the limit for him, especially in this offense. People want to knock him for not being this pass catcher. Well, he hasn't been put in position to be that guy yet. And I do think they're going to utilize him. You're getting paid $28 million guaranteed over 3 years, you're probably going to get utilized a lot. So I do think people who are worried about us paying a running back that we're not going to utilize, I think it's a stupid thing to even think about. Because I think he's going to get a lot of touches in this offense, especially year one when Mahomes come back from this injury.
That's just worried about potential worst case scenario. I mean, then I hope those people didn't want us to draft Love either, right? So that's where I think a lot of it comes from. I think Walker's just not certain people's guy. And we know people get possession over that, very possessive over that. So if he's not the guy that you wanted, therefore I got to pick holes in it. And, so that doesn't surprise me very much. Is he like a polished route runner? No, he's not like he's not Bijan, but he can run a wheel. He can run a slant. That's fine. You want a polished route runner and a guy to do that kind of stuff? Use Preferred Smith. A guy who can run like receiver routes. He's a receiver, so there you go. And you can play a receiver or a running back who used to be a receiver. But there's a guy's strengths that we need. He fills a huge hole, not just a running back, but for home run ability, and we needed that. That's a huge something that we have not had for a long time. Even Hunt wasn't like a home run hitter. He's a good back, really good back, but he wasn't a home run hitter even when he was young. That just wasn't his strong suit. Walker, you give him a crease, he's gone a lot, but he's not. Forget about gone. Just give us 10 to 20-yard runs on a consistent basis. Like that's what you want. That's what we need. So, I think it's a slam dunk. It's a little more than I wanted to spend, but the money's been crazy out there. Like, you're not going to get bargains. And we didn't come off a Super Bowl. So we don't have that, discount to win a Super Bowl. No, we don't have that, right? So, you want that. Right now, he's a Super Bowl winner. He's the guy you got to pay up for. It's not the opposite. Like, hey, dude, I just came off a Super Bowl. I'm not taking a discount to possibly win one. I just won one. So that was one guy that whole pitch wasn't going to work with, right? I might work with ATN. That might work with Brees Hall. It's not working with him. And with him, by the way, so we have 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowl MVPs on our team? Think about that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Mahomes, Hurts, and then so is it 4 out of 5? 3 out of 4?
Yeah. 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
But
pretty good.
That's great. Two Super Bowl MVPs on the same team. I saw a stat here. I just wanted to put this out there. So rate of 7+ man boxes faced by RBs last year. Seahawks 4th highest, 84%. Chiefs 4th lowest. So this guy's gonna be. Obviously teams are gonna have to pick and choose what they want to do. They want to stack the box. So they want to play this soft that too high shell. I don't know, man. It's tough. Teams are gonna have to. It's not the Pacheco anymore. It's not Kareem Hunt anymore. Like, you're gonna have to fear the run game. You have guys on the offensive line who are good run blocking guys. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Kingsley. You can actually do these things with these guys, and we can finally utilize all the guys you're paying up front. And that's another thing too. You paid a running back, but you finally paid a running back so you can utilize the guys you're paying up front all that money too. So it's a domino effect of goodness there. There's a stat. I thought I retweeted it earlier. It was a stat of the amount of 15+ runs. Do I not have it anymore? Oh, the
one that we've had.
Yeah.
While you're looking for that, I have a stat I came across earlier. It was we have. Let me see if I can memorize it. We have the 3 lowest. Hold on. Let me find this damn thing. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So the lowest explosive rush rates from a running back in the last 25 years. These are the top worst. 2025 Chiefs, 2007 Chiefs, 2024 Chiefs. Top 3 worst. So, when you're saying it was a hole of ours, it is a major hole.
And the stats are, I can't find the exact one I was looking at, but this is a good one. Rushes of 10-plus yards in 2025. The Chiefs combined for 2022. Kenneth Walker at 33. Carries of 15-plus miles per hour in 2025. The Chiefs running backs combined for 24. Walker at 67. Carries of 20-plus miles per hour in 2025. The Chiefs RBs at 0. Walker at 2. Percentage of light boxes, 6 or less defenders faced. Chiefs first, 47%. Seahawks 30th, 26%. So we got a real deal guy back there. I know it wasn't Breece Hall like some of you wanted. I know we're not going to get for Jeremiah Love. The dream is over for the lover boys out there.
Oh,
Or lover girls. But we got a dude, and I think everyone should be happy and excited about it. So yeah, and then you got Brashard Smith. We can maybe draft a guy like you said, a bowling ball type dude in the middle of the draft. Maybe he can go out and sign somebody later on in this free agency. Who knows? But at the same point, we should be happy about the guy we got. And I'm like, there's a reason why everyone said they wanted Jeremiah Love this offseason. It's not just because Jeremiah Love is this really talented running back. It's because we needed a running back. People were tired of the running back we saw. And what did Brett Veach do? Brett Veach went out and got the best running back that was on the market, the number one running back. So forget the name. Brett Veach checked off the number one position that a lot of people thought was really getting at us, and he did it. So, Brett Veach, kudos to you, buddy. Kudos to you for giving us Kenneth Walker, and also shout out to Albert Breer, Ricky Scoops, and Evan Sidery. People dogged all three of those guys. Not Albert Breer. No one really dogs Albert Breer, but people were saying that he's the only one saying that the Chiefs are on Kenneth Walker. Nobody else is saying that. Well, he was right, and I trust Albert Breer. Then Ricky Scoops, he said that last week the Chiefs were going to get Kenneth Walker. He was right, and then Evan Sidery also got killed for it as well. So kudos to those three, and then not so kudos to Jonathan Jones, who said the Chiefs were going to go for a mid-tier $8 million back, and then Jeremy Fowler, who just said the Chiefs were interested in a mid-tier back to a top back. So great, the entire field of running backs. Congratulations, Jeremy Fowler, for that one. So yeah. All right, let's go to the next signing, which was another fun one, another one that just came out of nowhere, and that was, I can't pronounce his first name. Is it just Kairos? Is it Kairos Tonga?
yes,
It's Kairos.
I believe so. Yes.
It's a badass name. Kairos Tonga, defensive tackle. And again, we talked about, I think someone asked a question last week or 2 weeks ago when we were doing one of our free agent shows, and we were talking about what kind of guys are they coming in. The two signings we had of new guys were teams that went to the Super Bowl last year. So we went for guys who are on winning cultures, right? Walker came from Seattle, won the Super Bowl, MVP. Kairos Tonga, defensive tackle, came from the Patriots. And Mike Vrabel, a winning team last year. They won the AFC. So we obviously went for high character guys coming from winning programs. We don't want guys to come in from these bum teams. But we got two guys. And obviously, we might sign guys from losing organizations. However, the first two, the guys we went for were guys who were in that Super Bowl, the guys who were winning teams last year. Nonetheless, Chiefs bring in defensive tackle Kairos Tonga, agreed to a 3-year, $21 million contract that includes $14 million in guarantees. Another fun fact, both Tonga and Kenneth Walker came from the same agency. So the Chiefs really hit it up with the Aura agency yesterday. That's the name of the agency, Aura, A-U-R-A. And they talked, they must have said, hey, you know what? That's what it was, Teja. They called one agent yesterday, and they just called agents instead of calling players. They called agents and talked about players. Maybe that's what
I don't know if it works that way, but that's pretty smart. I don't know. Probably not.
But when I saw they came from the same agency, I was like, oh, maybe that's what they did. They used up their one.
No, you have to say the player. So if you didn't name Tonga and you signed him, they're like, wait a minute, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, you meant players. Oh, I thought you meant agents. My bad. We'll do it right next year. Right.
So the Chiefs end up bringing in Tonga. Obviously, again, D-line, running back was among the top things we needed to get this offseason. Pennell's going. We talked about it, right? The only defensive tackles we had going into this free agency were Chris Jones and O&L. That's it. There's only two guys that were on the roster that got playing time last year. Only two guys. Pennell's gone. Derek Notty's gone. So, this defensive tackle, having a rotational guy to come in there and be a run-stuffing dude, and also a spot fullback, which is he played some fullback for them last year. Very Don Terry Poe-esque. But what did you make of this move? And I have to say, an A+ move because, again, Brett Veach went out and went for needs of ours because oftentimes GMs don't really recognize what the needs are. They'll go elsewhere. It's like, no, you literally recognize running back and defensive tackle, and you went and got it. Boom, check. What did you make of this move?
I thought it was fantastic. I tweeted this earlier that you can learn a lot about a player based on the reaction of the departing team's fans. So that's the first thing I did. I immediately went to like his name and looked for any like beat writer that's been talking about, contract negotiations recently or like the signing. Patriots fans are absolutely furious. Like, and Patriots fans and just fans in general tend to just, like you're breaking up with me, or I'm breaking up with you. So people tend to just like react and say like, oh, I don't know, he just sucks anyways, overrated. They didn't do that. It was like a pretty unified, pissed off group of fans. Apparently Patriots botched negotiations. They're supposed to sign him at the end of last season. They had a contract lined up. It didn't happen. He played his ass off in the playoffs. At that point, he wanted more money because of his playoff performances. And they weren't willing to do that. So they lost him. They wanted him, though. Like, they wanted to keep him at D tackle. So we took one of the better defensive players from the AFC championship team, and we took the best player from the NFC championship team. So pretty cool. I love it. I think it's a great signing. I think he'll fit in very well next to Jones. He's looked at and talked about as a run stuffer, but he graded really high in pass rush. He had a great pass rush win rate. He actually graded higher at pass rush than he did run stuffing. But I think it's a great signing. A lot of tread left for him too. His contract's great too. I was just reading the terms of his contract. Fantastic.
I have it right here. Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. 3 years, $21 million, $14 million guaranteed, $5.6 million signing bonus, salaries. So for year one, 1.2. I mean, like that's that. He's not making anything this year.
His cap is 3.2, but yeah.
6.75 second year, 6.75 the following year. A workout bonus. It's all there. But yeah, I mean, like they worked this out nicely where we can actually have a lot more money to spend in the way they kind of, fine tune the year to year spend there.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right? Like you want like a run stuffer who's not a liability at pass rush. So that's what he is. He can do both. We finally have like a solid starting D tackle next to Jones. That's great, right? And you got to think, man, like Jones was very happy about it, and Jones has been very close to the D tackles past few years, right? So like he's had no problem supporting that. Like, friends are friends, but guy's gonna make my life easier while I'm getting my ass kicked on the fields. I kind of want that. So yeah, I don't see any negatives there. It was a good contract. He's a good player, and I think his best football's ahead of him.
Yeah, and I think some people were talking about his age and like he's like 29 or something. But the guy was he didn't play football for 2 years because he was on a mission trip, and like Wichita, which is hilarious of all places, Wichita. But like 2 years of not playing football, so he's not this 29-year-old guy. He's got a lot of tread left in that tire with this guy.
Oh yeah.
So football wise, he's like 27, even though his age is 29. But yeah, I love the signing. He wasn't a guy I had on my radar as far as a dude to go get. But like, hey, like they obviously saw something with him, and this is a good deal. And I know some people are like, I saw a comment because when I was excited about this on Twitter, someone was like, he only had 0.5 sacks in his career. 0.5. He's a run stuffing defensive tackle. 0.5 sacks in his career. What is wrong with people, man? Oh man. And I was like, no, that's why I didn't want to draft Jeremiah Love, so we could go try to draft an edge rusher to get us about 10.5 sacks at the pick number 9.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing the other thing that Kenneth Walker sign does. It frees up 9. Right? I'm not talking about Walker because Walker is 9, but ninth pick overall. It completely frees that up now. So it's like a double whammy signing. You're paying $16 million to be able to draft whoever the hell you want at 9. Right.
Yeah, and then with this too, it's like just because we're drafting him does not mean we're not going to go for another defensive tackle. Like that's only 3. Like someone asked, are we done with defensive tackles? No, it's only 3 on the roster. Between Tonga, ONL, who is recovering well from his ACL injury. They say he'll be back by the time the season starts for training camp and all that. So that's good. He's progressing well. And then Jones, that's it. The only 3 guys. So like we're not done by any means with the defensive line, especially defensive tackle. So like, and also too, we'll probably bring in a defense. There's guys in the draft who are DNs, D tackle types. Ideally, if we get Ruben Bain, that's DN, D tackle there, and I'll be talking about him tonight. But like you get a guy like that who can play D tackle, DN. So yeah, I don't think we're done by any means with defensive tackles. But Tonga really finally gives us a guy who, man, might I say probably like I know people want to say what they say, the slander they say about Pacheco, but I want to say Tonga is probably a bigger upgrade from Nadi than Walker is to Pacheco, because that's how bad Nadi is. I think. I think Nadi is so bad that this Tonga is so much more of a upgrade versus Walker to Pacheco as far as upgrading over player. I think it's night and day because Pacheco's a better running back than Nadi is a defensive tackle.
Overall players, positions, you might be right. I think player strengths for both of them, I might lean Walker again. A guy who can stuff the run or a guy who can do a home run threat. You're talking about probably one of the best home run threats in the NFL. Neither one of those tackles are best run stuffers in the league. They're just one's really good at it. One's like okay at it. One's serviceable.
Yeah, I think they're both elite guys. I think both these guys who signed today are major upgrades over the guys we had last year in that position. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Again, like Vrabel's a defensive guy. Vrabel did not want to lose him. Like they did not want to lose him. Like that, what the Patriots' background is, and your D tackles are extremely important for everything you also want to do. Everything else you want to do, and they didn't want to lose him. That just says it all. And neither did the fans. So, the team tried to re-sign him. Fans wanted him re-signed. It didn't happen.
People are big fans of the whole idea of him playing fullback, that he's plays spot fullback for them. We don't have a fullback on the roster. We've been known to use guys like Dontari Poe in the past. Do you think we could? Do you think you will see some Andy bringing out some old Dontari Poe, hungry pig formations?
I mean, he played fullback. I don't see why. Especially, it's great because we obviously don't want to utilize a fullback that much. But once in a while, for any moment, Andy Reid in the last 3 years has said to himself, "Gosh darn it, I wish we had a fullback right now." Well, yeah. You can do that. Not all game, but you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm again. I do think that this is like going into this offseason. Running back, DT, DN, and they went out and got two of the three bigger needs, I would say, on day one. Not even day one, pre-day one, in this beginning of free agency. So, huge day for the squad. I think I saw a tweet here. You guys preach about winning by trench warfare, and this is a great pickup. Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of his highlights, again, it's a defensive tackle, right? Run stuffy defensive tackle, big dude. But, this guy wrecks havoc back there. I'm seeing 2 dudes on him. He's just wrecking havoc back there. And he has some pass rush chops. Like you said, he actually graded better at being a pass rusher. Some of his grades. You have Jones getting double teamed. You finally have a guy next to him who will win if he's getting soloed up. And that's something we haven't had in a while. So that's huge. And then you add in the rotation of ONL. You add the rotation of whoever we get in the draft. So very, very exciting. These are 2 good pulls by the organization on day one. So,
yeah, great.
They still the crocodile guy now. He's with the Eagles now. He's gone. Carsdale's done. I don't want to hear that name ever again. Don't ever say his name ever again. I was never a big fan of his, and I just didn't ever want to hear his name again. he was a fun training camp story that people love because it was alligator and the hair, the whole thing. I'm over it. All right, let's go to our next one. So our final one, this is more of a re-signing. We said this was going to happen. We heard him talk about Eric Bieniemy seeing him in the building. We knew this was going to happen. Last night, Diana Rossini tried to say, and Jesse Newell of Kansas City Star, shame on him. They both said, or I think it's The Athletic now, I don't know. Jesse Newell, Kansas City Star, Athletic, whatever. They both had an article saying that Travis Kelce was in the mix and he's taking offers from other teams. I knew it was BS. Most people knew it was BS, and it was laughable to say in the mix elsewhere because everyone knows Travis Kelce either finishing his career in Kansas City or he was retiring and taking a job for Amazon or some network and is going to get paid probably more than what he got paid today. But Kelce is returning for his 14th, and it seems like his final season. The swan song for our guy, agreeing to a 1-year deal, a contract of $12 million worth up to $15 million smackaroos. Apparently, Kelce reportedly turned down more money from other teams in free agency to stay with Kansas City. So the ultimate Chief guy. It's not in this day and age. Not often you see a guy who will stay with one team till the end. And a guy who is a celebrity now, and he probably could have. There's probably more for him to do in New York and Los Angeles now than there is in Kansas City. But nonetheless, this guy is a Chief at heart. And you probably might never see this again. I think Mahomes might be the last guy we'll see like this in Kansas City. But in modern day sports, you won't see a story like Travis Kelce, a guy who spent 14 years with the same organization, being probably the most popular guy in the NFL for the last 3 years. And he stayed with Kansas City in God's country, in the middle of the nation. He stayed in Kansas City till the end and turned down less to stay in Kansas City. So I'm happy he's coming back. I know there's some fans out there who want him to retire for whatever reason. The guy was a top 5 tight end last year, and they wanted another hole to fill. They want him to retire, which is ridiculous. Actually, some of them didn't want him to retire. Some were okay with him going elsewhere. It's like, come on, man. Have some loyalty for crying out loud. But nonetheless, thoughts on Travis Kelce coming back for what might be his final ride?
You know me, I'm Moneyball, and I'm totally fine. I think most players, if not all of them, are replaceable. Most. And it's okay if you want Kelce to go somewhere else, as long as you have a plan. But the whole I just don't want him here because I think it's going to keep the bad trends of our offense going. I just think those are highly flawed arguments. And you look around the league, it's like you can't just say, oh, no, we're going to pay a 37-year-old $12 million. But look at the other guys making money out there. You have straight up blocking tight ends that are getting multi-year deals of 8 APY just based off potential that they might be half of what Kelce is. It's not even what he is, it's what he could be. And you have people paying for multi-years. I would rather have Kelce on a 1-year deal than probably 90% of tight ends on a multi-year deal, because you just can't bet on these guys from year to year. Did they ever release Kate Otton's contract? What did he get? He got signed. I don't remember seeing what it was though.
Here, I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, likely 3 years, $40 million to the upside of 47. That's crazy. Likely, what is he?
Kate Otton got 3 years, $30 million with $20 million guaranteed.
There you go, Kate Otton. 10 a year. So Kelce for $2 more million for one season. Usually, you take a discount to go for a multi-year deal. That means a 1-year deal for Kate Otton would have been $12 million too. So at that point, what are you doing? So it's not like it's not like Kelce's worse than these guys and you're just giving him money because of the legacy aspect. He's still worth that contract as a player, as a standalone player. He would have gotten more somewhere else. And they don't have legacy. The Giants don't care that Kelce had a long career with the Chiefs. They don't care about that. It doesn't mean anything to them. So people just would pay him a lot more. He's worth a certain amount on the market. And he chose 12, which is a good number. I think 12 is a good number for a good starting tight end. I think that's what Kelce is now. I don't think he is what he was, but he's a good starting tight end.
He's top 5 tight end.
Yeah, it's top 5, top 10. Those guys, Schultz just got $12 million, I think, for 1 year. Like, I'd say he's better than Schultz, but they're around the same tier right now for one season. It's really hard not to look at the past, but it's like 1 year. It's I think it's great. I think it's a great contract. I'm glad they didn't do any funny money stuff. Just push it, like just make it a 1 year deal, make it clean. I think it's awesome.
Do you think? I mean, he has a show on Wednesday, but I don't know if they're recording Wednesday, but do you think this will be announced that it is his final season? Like he's gonna make a retirement tour type of year, or do you think he goes year to year? Because I think I saw a report last week saying that like he feels that he could play more than one more season. And he looked like a top 5 tight end last year, so like. I wouldn't be surprised he could play 2 more years, but also every year, last 2 years we're hearing it might be it, it might be it, it might be it. It finally could be this is it. And also he has the opportunity to do something that a lot of players don't go out and say, this is my final ride going into the season. That's more of an NBA thing when they say, I'm retiring at the end of the season. I'm going to make every game special, the nice little, ceremony from each stadium. You don't really see that in the NFL. You usually see that in the NBA. But do you think this is final ride? He'll announce on the show before the season comes up?
It's a good question. I think you're right, though. I think because of the way they market it now and the way players want to be, like how they want to go out, you do kind of have to announce it before the season starts to get that kind of attention, right? You can't just you can't just speculate that it's his last year. You could, but you're not getting the true effect of it all. I think it's hard for him to announce it. I think it really depends on how he looks, right? I think if you had a downward trend from 24 to 25, I think he would have retired. I think the fact that he looked so much better this last year than the prior, I think it just depends how he looks. I think he's not going to want to play and be dragging through it. Like he's not going to want to do that. That's not how you want to go out, right? So I think this is him saying, I can commit to 1 year of what I deem to be high enough output at where I'm close to what I used to be. I'm not a shell of myself. I'm not what I used to be, but I'm not a shell of it, right? There's a percentage. He's probably I'd say 75%, 80% of what he used to be. Is that about fair? I think that's pretty fair.
I do think it's difficult because he had a better year than he had the year prior, so it was an uptick of a year. So
that year I'd say he was 65% of what he used to be. So he went up 10-15% from that.
Yeah, it depends. I think you're right. I think he probably won't announce it, even though he has an opportunity to be the first player to it. Not first player, but first player in the modern times to have a send off in every game he goes to. He has a chance to do that. He's a big celebrity, but at the same time, I think what you said, and I think I'm seeing the comment here by that he doesn't need to keep playing, right? He's not playing for the money. He's not playing for the accolades. He's got all those things.
He's playing because he can.
Yeah, he's playing because he can because he loves to play in the game. So, if he does look good, he's the guy I'm going to keep going on till the wheels fall off is his famous quote. But, if actually he looks good, he might want to continue to play, and they might do year-to-year contracts with him. I don't know. Maybe that's why they did a year-to-year thing.
Yeah, I just think it's really tough to gauge so early in you don't know how you're going to play and how you're going to look. And also, I don't know if you want the distraction. Answering questions every week about how's it feel the last time you've been in New York? How's it feel the last time in Buffalo? You want to answer that? I wouldn't want to. I would want that. I don't want people to talk about that constantly. So yeah, I could see how he wouldn't, even if it is. I wouldn't do it because he wants it just to be about the team and to win, and that's all people are going to talk about every week. Dude, you're not going to be able to escape that, right? That's why there's no point in talking about retirement until you're ready to say I'm going to retire. I think it was easier for farewell tours like Kobe because the Lakers sucked and they weren't going anywhere. So there's nothing to distract from. This is the season. The season is the farewell tour. If we were a bottom feeder team, like we were half of last year, and he was just doing it because okay, I'm giving myself a real farewell. Yeah, sure. At that point, but we're not. We're contending and we're looking for bigger and better things. So I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he will say that.
That's why I knew he was coming back. I didn't think it was the end for him because like you said, we did have one of those seasons last year. He could have done that. Right after Mahomes got hurt, it's like, hey, I want to let everyone know this is my last season, so I'm going to enjoy these last 3 weeks, just play carefree. He could have done that, and he didn't, and because he wants to continue to play because he saw how good he was last year, given everything.
And it was kind of taken away. Like the season was taken away, and last season was really frustrating for him, especially because the season ended before it actually ended. It wasn't on his terms, right? Like he couldn't even say, hey, imagine if he was like the week Mahomes got hurt, he was like, I'm going to retire, but I'm going to go out there these last few weeks and just ball my ass. You couldn't even ball his ass off. How? Fuck, 2 targets a game? From like the ball skipping at his cleats? He couldn't even do that. Like, so it's like you couldn't even say like, I'm gonna go out and rip it up. Give me all the targets you can. Like what? Am I ankles? So it's like the season was kind of stripped from him, and he didn't even have. He was robbed the opportunity to even gracefully leave. But imagine if we were eliminated, but Mahomes is still healthy, and they're like, "Hey man, you retire these last 4 weeks. Let's rip up the record books. All right, let's do it." Maybe he would have retired then. Maybe he would be like, you know what? This is fun, man. We weren't winning, but you know what? We just let out there and let it rip. Like that I'm all good now. I'm good with it. But like, didn't even end the season with Mahomes throwing the ball. It sucks. Like, who wants that, right?
Yeah.
So like,
well, and that was also a reason why he did come back is because like he didn't want his last pass Mahomes to be like some third quarter throw from Mahomes and like that.
It's not meaningful.
Yeah.
And why not? You can play. You're at a high level. Why not? It's not like you're begging the Chiefs for a contract. You know what I mean? Like you're still playing at a really high level. So I just think it all works out really well.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if we end up bringing a draft a tight end. I mean, we have the 29th pick now. So like, do they draft a tight end and do they, some people have Sadiq falling to 29. Or if they go round 2, they draft one of the other guys like Eli Stowers, Max Clare.
Second round? No,
I'm just saying, just a tight end. If it's not Sadiq, one of the other ones, one of the other high ones.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe that's the 1 year where they have him be this last year where he gets to play mentor and also last year of being the guy. Who knows? But
maybe.
right now they don't have the next guy on the roster. I think Princeton will be solid, but I don't think he's the next guy. But nonetheless. All right, so that does it. And last call word before we get to our prospects is it seems like all the cornerbacks are gone from that 2022 draft class. McDuffie gone. Jalen Watson went with McDuffie to the Rams. Josh Williams signed by Titans. 2-year deal. So congratulations, Josh Williams. He's gone. Nazi, I think he needs to sign an exclusive rights deal. I don't know if he's on the roster currently. So yeah, pretty much all those DBs from that squad are gone.
Crazy, man.
It's nuts.
It reminds me of the year we overhauled O-line, except the difference is our secondary didn't suck last year, but our O-line did suck that year. So it was a all agreed upon, like, all right, 1, 2, 3, gone. But like that's not really the case in the secondary. We're just like replacing it, even though it was like one of our strengths. So
yeah,
it's interesting. A lot of thoughts and feelings about that.
And Brian Cook's gone as well.
Yeah. I know a guy in the first round who fixed a lot of secondary problems.
But you're not talking about him tonight.
I am not. Can I call dibs? We both want to talk about him.
You can talk about him.
No, it's fine.
I'll throw my 2 cents in.
Plenty of guys. Yeah. It's not like it's exclusive. We're all talking about everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, with the cornerback issue, because I think I argued with Jeremiah Gallagher a little bit earlier. He pretty much said we sign Walker and we let our defense to be nothing. And I've seen a lot of people make those comments today saying our defense is nothing right now. Our secondary is just the open field. We on this show we dogged the Chiefs for not using Jeffrey Boston towards the end of the season, not getting to see what we got out of him. We dogged the Chiefs for not being able to showcase Jalen Royals to see what kind of receiver we have in him. We dogged the Chiefs for not being able to utilize Brashard Smith in an RB1 capacity when it was pretty much Pacheco and Hunt were done at the end of the season. We did at the last game of the season. We utilized Brashard Smith, but it'd been nice to see him get more touches the weeks prior to that. But the two positions the two guys we did get to see a good look at in the last 3 weeks of the season was Christian Fulton and Noah Williams. Now, those two guys we talked about on the show, they flashed more than anybody else those last 3 weeks of the season. And we said, man, where's Christian Fulton been all the season? But we never really got to see him because he was hurt, and we also said he was buried on the depth chart. Noah Williams looked great, got a lot of playing time, and then all of a sudden he was getting playing time. It just never made any sense. So when those two guys actually got to get playing time towards the end of the season, Kevin Knowles, a friend of our show, came in and got some playing time. Looked good. CRW had moments where he looked good. And this is one position where we talk about some of these guys, like Trey McDuffie was a first-round pick. Jalen Watson was a seventh-round pick. Brian Cook, I think, was third or fourth-round pick, mid-draft. L'Jarius Sneed was a third or fourth-round pick, mid-draft. This team that we have has made its money on finding these dudes, right? Charvarius Ward, undrafted guy that we got from, I think, Dallas. Another guy who wasn't a high draft pick. Trey McDuffie of all these guys was the only high draft pick. The rest were bargains or late round guys that we found. So for people to say like, oh man, we have nobody now. Well, there's a team that we're talking about all these undrafted guys or seventh round guys or fourth round guys. The same way they found those, the Jalen Watsons and the Charvarius Wards and L'Jarius Sneeds, they'll do it again. And if it's one position I do trust us to do that with, it's secondary and cornerback. And the team has already proven they can't do that with running back. And that's why they went out and spent a good amount on a running back. Because they tried the bargain bin running back. They tried the veteran guy. They tried the late round guy. And for a little bit there, it looked good. Like Jerick McKinnon let us get away with having a running back that, is more primarily a pass-catching guy. Pacheco allowed us to get away with that seventh-round running back. And before the injuries added up, he was solid. I never thought he was a long-term answer, but he was solid. But we never really found that guy in the running back. Cornerbacks, we did. We were able to find those bargain value guys who came in and stepped up. Running back, we didn't. So that's why when people say, why do we spend all that money? We have no money to spend on the secondary anymore. Well, that's because we're going to go the same route and the same blueprint we did to get those guys we end up trading for a haul. Or
why don't we have money?
We're saying we spent too much money on a running back, and now we don't have enough money to go get other guys secondary-wise.
We don't know what his contract is this year. We like to structure him pretty back-loaded. So,
but overall, I think the sentiment that I'm trying to get out there is the fact that we have not. We have tried the bargain barrel thing with running backs, late round guys, and those have not panned out for us. Cornerbacks, it has panned out for us. Noah Williams, a third round guy, is going to step up and start next year. And he's going to look dang good. And in 3 years' time, when he's up for contract, they might be able to trade and get something for him. Who knows? Because based on our history, probably not going to resign him. So yeah, I just think that secondary wise, I trust our staff. I trust Dave Merritt. I trust Spags. And I trust Brett Veach and the scouting department who finds these cornerbacks year after year after year. And so I'm not really that scared. And I liked what I saw from Christian Fulton last year as well. Thoughts on that?
I would like a vet cornerback signing. None of this really surprises me. I pretty much, when I've been doing mock drafts for the past 2 months, I've been taking a slot corner and I've been taking an outside corner. So I've always planned on, and yes, I have had in my mock trades, I have always taken the 29th and the 4th round pick from the Rams. So I was pretty damn close on what they got. So I've used a pretty high pick on corner. I've moved it up since we let everyone go. I think I'm going to move that cornerback pick up a bit, but I think we have a vet. We have an up and coming second year player. The vet would be vet insurance. So that would also help if Fulton got injured, and he's been injured a lot. So, but I like this very cornerback deep draft. The positions we haven't taken actually are really deep in the draft. So I'm sure that's by design. So yeah, I think a vet signing and then draft a corner or two. We have a lot of picks. So I like it. We've shown the ability to, it's a dangerous game because we've shown the ability to plug secondary holes with just draft picks, and they've all worked out for the most part. Maybe we're a little cocky in that regard. You can't do that forever, right? But until it doesn't work, keep doing it. So you already have another guy, Noel, who's cost control for 3 more years. Fulton's on 1 more year, so that's why I think the best bet here. You want to get I'd say a top 5 cornerback in this draft to maybe come in and just take over for Fulton once Fulton departs next season, and then you have 2 young stud corners, cost controlled for at that point 2 and 4 years, 3 years. So yeah, I'm a little surprised we didn't go in on the Cook. Cook's contract was pretty good, actually. It was pretty. I looked at the breakdown; it was pretty favorable. Surprised we didn't do that, but you know what? Safety is one of the deepest positions in this draft. I guess go figure. So I think they can fill that too. I think honestly, secondary could be filled in the draft, and maybe 1 vet. I'd still be okay with a vet. Safety too, like the Mike Edwards of this season, but not Mike Edwards. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
And also, too, one of the guys who's might be there at number 9 is Caleb Downs, which we talked about before. If a lot of guys get drafted and he's there at number 9, that allows us to go get him. So
we'll do a Caleb Downs day, but Caleb Downs is a issue eraser. You're having issues on a part of the field, you put Caleb Downs on that part of the field. That issue goes away. It magically just goes away. So if we feel like we need a guy, and I said this for a long time, if you're going to lose McDuffie and you're going to lose Cook, like Downs kind of a combination of them, right? I mean, he can guard in the slot. He can probably guard straight up on the outside. You really wanted him to, but he can guard in the slot. He can be your box. He can be your deep. He's everywhere in that middle, so and deep. So if you want a guy who can fill in multiple roles on your defense, Downs is really good for that. So it's very exciting. It's a great start, and I think if secondary is one of the places where we could afford to take a beat on and be like, let's wait a second here. Let's not go crazy, and we'll figure this out. I think we'll be able to get a decent vet signing, a couple of them in the secondary, a safety and a cornerback, and then go into the draft and hit up cornerback for the young next stud.
Yeah, and we'll see. There's again, there's a lot of safeties. We talked about in our DB show, that free agent class. I mean, it's pretty good free agent class as far as safeties and cornerbacks. Obviously, some guys have gone, but still, there's guys out there who they can possibly bring in. And I think Reed Blankenship got 8 years, $8 million a year, or not 8 years.
Oh,
3 years, 24 million. About $8 million a year.
Yeah, the safeties just didn't go as much because again, and I think Louis Riddick said this. It's
good class.
Good luck being a free agent. In that's why Cam Crow accepted that deal before you get into free agency, because you don't want to mess around. It's a very, very deep safety class. Yeah. There's just some guys out there though.
Yeah, there are. Demetrius Spence-Downs just makes sense so far after today's free agency moves. I mean, he's a game changer. So if they did get him, like now that we have a running back, yes, we still need an edge rusher, but it's a pretty deep edge rush class. So we could probably give him our 29th pick and our 40th pick. So, yeah. I'm excited. But there's also another guy, and that's Teja. Teja's going to talk about one of the other positions we can go, because another position, like I think, has moved up now that we checked off running back and checked off D tackle. Another position comes up as receiver, and Teja's got 2 of them he's going to be talking about tonight. So let's roll in to our week 1 of our 7-week prospect series on Chief Concerns. 7 weeks, baby. So enjoy it, everybody.
So exciting.
It is exciting. So here is Teja's first prospect.
Oh man, look at that. Look at him there. I mean, it's like so exciting, man. Okay. Carnell Tate. 6'2" and change. I think it was 6'2.2. 10 1/4 hands, 31 3/4 arms, 78 wing. Let's get the combine out of the way. I'm going to get the combine out of the way for both of my guys because both of them had very news headline worthy combines for different reasons. Let's get his out of the way. He ran a 4.53. Many executives had him in the mid fours. And besides that, no one seems to care because his game speed. He just doesn't look like a 4-5 player. And if you go by the 4 or 5 players of the past, there's been a lot of elite receivers who ran in that range. I'm not even going to list them out because it's a lot of guys. Okay. He has an effortless way about the way he runs too. It's like he's very long strider. I thought he was going to be taller than what he was just because he looks like it. He's got really, really good game speed. He's detailed with everything he does. It's the way he adjusts in his footwork. Like I was listening to, I had a lot of notes already prepped for this, but I was like, let me go outside the box here. I wanted to listen to Steve Smith because he knows receivers pretty well. So Steve Smith was talking about how, like, if you give him cushion, the way he eats up space in a second and then just sets you up almost like a Euro step. And like I've seen cornerbacks fall when trying to like reposition themselves to where he's going. So just awesome. Again, very detailed. If you try to readjust and play him deep, he can kill you on the short and intermediate routes. You could funnel your offense through him if you wanted. Contested catch rate, 100th percentile. 100th percentile. So he's a near perfect contested catch rate. And he's not one of those contested catch rates where it's like, oh man, his game is predicated on being a contested catcher. If he doesn't do that, I'm like, what, because we've seen those guys before, the contested catchers who that is their game only. That's not him, right? 0 drops. Last 2 years, 97 percentile in drop rate. If the ball's anywhere near him, he'll get it. Steve Smith said he's a snatcher. He just snatches it. And it looks effortless. 98 separation percentile overall. 95 separation against single coverage. Everything I've read and seen, his interviews are through the roof. Extremely high football IQ. Credit to Heartline over there for coaching up the receivers. He's another long line of Ohio State receivers who also had to wait their turn. So in while doing that, he refined a lot of the small things. He's a good blocker on top of it all. There's no reason I think we're going to fall in love with him because he does a lot of things. He did whatever they asked him to while waiting his turn. And a lot of guys, especially in modern day college football, would just go somewhere else to get their 100 plus targets a year. He was like, no, I'm here. I want to learn here. I want to be great here. Wait his turn. Again, not as twitchy with the ball in his hand. That's probably the weakest part of his game is yak. He's not really twitchy. He's not that kind of guy. He tries to run through cornerbacks because he's a pretty physical guy. He's a little grit. But deep to intermediate, got that down, attacks the ball. Great on the sidelines. We could use that, huh? A great sideline catcher. Man, a lot of our deep threats have issues with that. I'm not going to name names. Plays 90% of his snaps on the outside. He's a true X receiver. So if you draft him, you're putting him on the X. You put Rice in the slot. You got Worthy in the Z. It's a pretty clean look for us. You know exactly how your offense is going to look. I also heard he played injured. He's a little more injured than he let on. Didn't use it as an excuse. But despite that, imagine your breakout year coming when you're playing injured for part of the year. Like, isn't that incredible? Like, I mean, and the amount he improved every year is something that you love seeing. Like, you love seeing a guy that improved every year in school. Steve Smith said he talked to an Ohio State coordinator. He said he's a football guy. He's a hard worker. He's self-motivated. He doesn't need to be followed. He's extremely coachable. He just has so many intangibles that we like. And he's a Lego guy in his spare time. Right now, he's building a Titanic Lego. So just like that's what he is, man. Football and Legos and video games, obviously. His comps, I've seen multiple ones of these two guys, but usually these two guys, I also have my own. Bigger, stronger Devontae Smith, which, yeah, sign me up. Bigger, stronger. Yeah, come on. What's the size? Like 5'11", probably.
Yeah,
So like
I don't like
a
it from
6'2" version of Devontae Smith.
Yeah. No, the bigger, stronger. Yeah, I was missing that part. Yeah, you're right.
George Pickens, the way he snatches balls and the way he in the open field with the ball in the air, it's just really hard to take him down. That was Steve Smith's comp was George Pickens. He said I immediately. He gave me slightly shorter AJ Green vibes. And what I mean by that is AJ Green sometimes had these long strides. He didn't look like he was as fast as he actually was on the field when you watched him. But then you'd see him just do a quick like little shimmy, and like he was just right past a guy, right? And also AJ Green wasn't the most twitchy yak, if you remember too. I mean, he would pull away from guys when he had the ball in his hand, but he wasn't like a twitchy, like shake you out of your cleats type guy. Bottom line is he's the best receiver in the draft. He feels a need. He's a premium expensive position. For every reason why Pierce almost caught $30 million, Tate is that and more. He's an X. He moves slot to Rice. He puts guys in the right position they should be in, which I believe. And probability. I'll end with the probability of getting him. I'm scared mostly about Giants and the Browns, maybe the Saints, but I'd say maybe Giants, Browns for sure, and then the Saints. If he gets by them, I will obviously he gets by the Saints. But so yeah, I'll take.
Joseph Blackwell wants to know: does he drive fast? Does he obey the speed limits? My player comp for him when I watch him is kind of Reggie Wayne-ish. I don't know if anyone wants to say I compare that to him. He's got reminds me of Reggie Wayne. But yes, the Devontae Smith, a bigger version, a slower version. He's a slower version, but a bigger version.
Yeah, he's a little slower. Yeah.
And the 4-5 too. I don't know if you guys saw that. Adam Schefter said he talked to multiple different teams that said that their time was a 4-4 for him, so not 4-5.
Yep.
And one thing I love, and I think we talked about, you and I talked about this the other day, but like he's an Ohio State receiver, and I think someone said, when was the last bust of Ohio State receiver? I can't tell you. Ohio State, maybe.
Jenkins?
Like Michael Jenkins from the Atlanta Falcons. Oh
yeah.
Was Brian Robisky was kind of weak. That's like the new modern age of receiver. The new modern age of receiver. Like the last 5 years, let's say.
You should like Michael Thomas on.
Yeah, from Michael Thomas on. I think
okay.
I think Ohio State's changed their offense and it's just very different than what it was.
About 10 years.
Yeah. And I think getting a receiver, like these guys, they produce professional wide receivers. And I always talk about wide receiver university. That school has become wide receiver university. And like every year they produce a guy who's, it's Olave, Garrett Wilson, Ibuka last year, who tore it up from day one. Marvin Harrison Jr., who's looked had up and down career so far, but he's solid. And I think any of us would take him on our team. So yeah, like they're good dudes too. On top of that, like of all these wide receivers, have you heard any negative stuff about any of them? Garrett Wilson plays for a horrible team with the Jets. I don't hear a peep about how, he's a cancer in the long run. I don't hear about that. Olave plays for the Saints, not a good team. I don't hear a peep about him. Michael Thomas, most part of his career, didn't hear a peep until he retired. He was on Twitter. So like most of these guys, I think you get a receiver from Ohio State, I think you're set. Because I think in the worst case, you'll get a guy who's a great wide receiver too. Best case, you have a legit wide receiver one for the next 5 years and on if you want to resign him after that. So I think Tate checks all boxes for me. I know at the beginning of this whole process, it was, oh man, who's better, Tate or Jordan Tyson? I was a bigger Tate fan than Tyson. I'd be okay with either one. But yeah, I love Tate, and I think everything you said. One thing someone did say, his 10-yard split's concerning, and that's something that JD always talks about. He always looks at 10-yard splits when it comes to a lot of positions.
Well, I've seen some people break down the way he got off on his 40, and they just say there's a flaw to the way he got off on it. I wonder if he had the same malfunction on his 10-yard. I'm not sure, but like he lost like a couple tenths of a second on his 40 just from the way he moved off of it. It looked a little weird. It looked a little awkward. Maybe that's it. But again, I mean, he's physical enough where you can't bump him. And he's he's so refined that if you lay off him, I'm not worried about his speed getting up there. I mean, he's a long strider, man. Long striders sometimes take a little longer. And, like Steve Smith said, they asked him about it. He said, look, man, some guys don't test well. I don't know what to tell you. But watch his film. Watch him on the field. Like, it's not, I mean, it's not concerning. It's not slow that he tested. He just didn't test as well as you thought he should have tested, right? And McShay had a good point. They asked McShay about, like, drafting him and where he should go. And he said, no one questions anything about Tate. The only thing is this draft is so rich in non-premium, like, studs. So a lot of the top 10 guys, really like top 7, I'd say, are you going to pass up a potential, and this is his words, are you going to pass up a potential Hall of Fame non-premium player for just a really, really good receiver? And that's what it'll come down to. Some of these non-premium players have such high ceilings, better at their position than Tate might be. But that's not to say Tate's not going to be really good. He's just not going to be a generational receiver. Some of these other guys are potential generational players at their positions. So it comes down to that. We don't really have that problem because those are other teams have to decide that before us. We're kind of just going to get like the leftovers, right? While people are sifting through gold, platinum, and silver, we're just going to be doing this and catch whatever the hell comes down. So I think it works in our favor, actually.
Yeah, I'm with you. And JD has broken silence here. JD's in the chat. Jerry Restaurant at 4540. I'm good with it. What up, Chief Concerns family? Just put the kids to bed. We love you, JD. Hope you're doing well.
The list of 4 or 5 receivers, dude, it's crazy. Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Hopkins, also ran for, I think, slow 40.
Yeah, not per.
Like, it goes on and on. I mean, a lot of guys ran in that range. It's not even uncommon. And he's not small. Like, he's not like one thing. He was like a 5'11" receiver running that, you'd be a little more scared. But like he's 6'2" and change. He's not a small receiver.
No, he's a stud. And there was a moment there where a lot of the mocks definitely haven't gained a number 9. Now I've seen some that haven't gained a number 9. We'll see. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens in the top 8. But yeah, Cardinal Tate would be
4.53 helped in that regard.
Yeah, and Cardinal Tate would be a guy I would like if we draft him at number 9. It's not be one of the ones I'm gonna be like, oh, it's crazy. So love it. All right, so we're gonna get to the next one. We got Ruben Bain Jr. So obviously we watched this show over the last 2 months. We've talked about Kenneth Walker. We talked about Ruben Bain, probably the biggest names we've talked about. So we already 1 for 1 on one of those. So maybe we go 2 for 2 with Ruben Bain. So let's begin here. So Ruben Bain obviously been sleeping under a rock. There's a guy that everyone thinks we should get, defensive end. And yeah, who knows if he comes to number 9, but for the mere fact that he might, we're going to talk about him on the show. So first off, physically, he fits what Steve Spagnuolo likes in a defensive end. Bain is about 6'3", 270, and he plays with a power-based, high motor style. Not the classic long, bendy edge rusher you see in some schemes. Instead, he wins with strength, violent hands, and relentless effort, which is exactly the kind of defensive lineman Spags has historically leaned towards. So the ideal Spags specimen, I would say. Production backs up. Bain has been an elite pass rusher in Miami, putting up big sack numbers consistently, generating pressure. In 2025, he had around 9.5 sacks, 15 TFLs, and constantly collapsing pockets. What stands out on tape isn't just the sacks. It's how he's disrupting plays, even if he's not in the play at all, from backside, all over the field. Another thing the Chiefs would love is his 3-down ability. He's not just a situational guy. He's strong enough to set the edge against the run, take on tight ends, tackles, you name it. Kind of versatility matters in Spags' defense because they asked the defensive ends to do a lot of stuff. We had Gelati on here a couple weeks ago saying how, it was a lot he was taking on, more so than he ever done ever. I mean, it was the first time he's ever dropped in coverage since like junior year or sophomore year or something. So Spags asks a lot for these guys. Now, one of the knocks you'll hear about Bain, and I'm sure you've heard a lot about, is his arm length, which probably will help him get to us if he does go to 9, probably because of that. His arms measured under 31 inches, which is shorter than what some NFL teams want as an edge rusher. But what makes him interesting is that he's already shown he can overcome that with leverage, technique, and power. And that's the one thing I've seen, too. It's like you can knock him for his arms, but what made him special in college was all those other things: his technique, his power, his leverage, all the other stuff. So like he's not really utilizing his like being a longer guy. He's already overcome that, and he's not playing. And he went to the CFB finals against some of the best. Beyond the traits, football character piece. Bane grew up in South Florida in a football family. Dominated Miami Central. He won multiple state titles. Became a leader in Miami and served as a team captain. He's described as a football junkie, the type of guy who lives in the film room and plays every snap like it matters. Funny story about Bane. In the first round, they played against Texas A&M. In the run up to that first round against Texas A&M, the offensive lineman said he's not worried about Bane. He said he's not a threat or something like that. After Bane heard that comment, Bane put that guy's picture as his lock screen on his phone. So the whole week leading up to that Texas A&M game, he had that on his lock screen. So I love hearing that because obviously the guy's like, we talk about bulletin board material a lot on the show. That's the legit bulletin board material where we joke about, say, oh, they're not even talking. They're not even listening to that stuff. He literally heard that quote and made that guy, the offensive lineman's face, his lock screen. I thought that was a funny story. One of my buddies who's a Miami fan told me that story. So you put it all together: power, rushing style, the versatility, the motor, mentality. Ruben Bane looks like the kind of player who could step up in Kansas City's defensive line rotation. And one thing we've learned about Chiefs and Spags, it's that they love defensive linemen who are physical, relentless, and disruptive. And that is why Ruben Bane Jr. would be my number one. And I think it's our Chief Concerns show's number one guy they would want at our ninth pick. So with their first episode of our College Prospects show, I had to stick up for the guy that we think should be would be the main number one pick. We'd pick at number 9 if he were to be there. So So Ruben Bane, Teja, I know you've done your research as well. What is your take on Ruben Bane?
I guess 3 out of our 4 guys have very controversial combines because his was arm length related. It's funny that the reason why he's even an option at 9 is the reason why some Chief fans are saying like, well, should we do it? Like, he wouldn't be here otherwise. Like, what do you mean? Like, he wouldn't be here for you. So I mean, if his arm length was in question, don't waste your time looking at him. He'd be a top 3 pick, like at latest, be a top 3 pick. And all those things were talked about throughout the college playoffs. And what did he do? He dominated on the biggest stages. He dominated. Bane is awesome. His hand usage and his hand power is like Jared Verse. He stuns people when he hits them with his hands. He's got good closing speed for his weight. He's not the bendiest, but he has bend for his size. Just such well built. He's a tank. He's a brick shithouse. He wears players down because he brings it all game. Doesn't stop. Same level of strength all game. The best quotes I've seen about him are just pure and utter destruction and violence. I just love that. If you want a game-wrecking D end, that's what you want. He wrecks games. He wrecks game plans. Got to run away from him. We're not even talking about the run stuffing he does. It is outlier arm length, but again, that's why he's going to be there. It shows up a bit as he does have a higher missed tackle percentage from it. So you're thinking oh man, maybe he'll move inside. Then he'll be a Pro Bowler on the inside. Either way, wherever you put him, he's going to be that guy, right? He's going to be just a pure destructive force.
He'll be a difference maker wherever you put him now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the strength leverage to handle anyone. He fires off too. No false steps. Hands are always ready. He's got this amazing, I think it's his best, is just the arm knockdown, the quick arm knockdown, which negates the length. Because if you're a tackle with long arms, your biggest advantage over him is your length, right? So when he knocks those down with those strong hands, advantage gone. Now you're up face to face with him. Now he's just going to bend around you at that point. He has it all, man, as far as, what he's in the field outside of arm length. I think he's worth betting on. I really do. Because, yeah, maybe if we were number 1 or 2, I would say, like, all right, like, let's take down the risk a little bit, right? But what are you really talking about? Like, let's go to the other pass rushers out there. Arvo Reese didn't play edge. He didn't play edge full time, not even like half time. He was an off ball linebacker for the most part. So there's risk there, right? You're projecting him at edge. David Bailey, I think David Bailey's better for some schemes than other. I mean, I would gladly take him at 9, but he's light. He's not a huge guy. He played better run defense this year, but before that, I mean, he had to get better, I think, because he wasn't as good. The point is, like, all the guys have questions to them. So at 9, it's a lot easier to make that decision to be like, yeah, Bain, like, he's a guy I would have taken at 3. Why wouldn't I take him at 9? Nothing makes me more mad when I see a mock draft from somebody like who's got him going like 11 or 10. I'm like, dude, he's not getting by 9. He's not getting by there. So I love it. I'm all in.
And also too with Bain, I mean, we're gonna get to see a lot over the next few days as far as how we're gonna kind of do these things with the roster.
Sure.
We only decided to tackle today. Our edge rush room is pretty, it's Carl Loftus, Omena, who's gone, FAU, we didn't see him at all last year, and Gelati. I mean, so it's like we talked about. There's not a lot in that defensive line room. So, like, having a guy like Ruben Bain who can play inside, outside, that helps. Will he get there to 9? Who knows? That's going to be something we'll have to see. The Chiefs talk to him. So that's a guy we have interest in. We talked to Bill. We talked pretty much every top guy in this draft, which is fun. We don't usually see that. Let me ask you. You said now that we're at 9, and if he comes there, obviously you take him. You run that card up. Is he a guy you trade up for? And let's say he falls to 6. You don't trade up for him.
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think anyone in this draft's really trade up worthy, to be honest with you. I just don't. There aren't many things you trade up for, in my opinion. Because it's not like it's a tier drop off for us. It's not, 9's. It's a good pick to be in because if you don't get him, who do you get down? Who's going to reshape our entire secondary? That's empty. Our secondary right now is probably in worse shape than our DNs, right? What do you mean? What? Come on.
I don't know. I liked what I saw from Fulton and Knowles.
I liked what I saw, but they're not. Neither one of those players right now, if they were free agents, would get Karlaftis' deal from us.
Yeah. I mean,
so
we could argue till the cows come home on the Karlaftis deal. I still think it's the worst thing I've ever done.
I mean,
we should have waited on that. We did it last year. We should.
If it wasn't us, someone else would have given that contract, if not more. So, like, it wasn't a Chief problem. Anyone would have given that contract because, like, that's what you do for up and coming pass rushers at age 25. It just happens. Like he would have gotten a lot of money. And I'll tell you what, if he got this contract right now, he'd still get that money this year, man. Even after you think he's
coming off a six sack season.
100%. Some of these guys that got 6 sacks this year. What did Mafe get this year? How many sacks did he have? Like 7, 6?
No clue.
Mafe's average in the NFL has been like 6 or 7 sacks. He got like $25 million today. Like, dude, guys are getting paid crazy numbers. Those Karlaftis numbers don't even look that bad right now. They look pretty good compared to what some of these guys are getting. Like 28, 29-year-old pass rushers who haven't shown them any chops. Point is, go on.
No, I was just saying. I hope Karlaftis plays up to that contract. I hope the guys we sign, the guys we draft, will allow him and Jones to do their thing. That's all.
Yeah, I get it. My point is,
yeah,
I don't know how you argue that our secondary's in better position than our.
I'm more excited about our secondary than I am with our pass rush currently. I'm more excited about who we have.
Pass rush or DNs?
DNs.
Okay. That's fair, but we've taken more losses on our secondary the past 3 days than we have our DN room. I mean, that's not
okay. But at the end of the season, we had these guys who couldn't rush the quarterback to save a life. But who's the secondary guard in those receivers and playing physical was Fulton and Noel Williams. and the pass rush wasn't doing anything in that game. And I saw
I
that.
know, but Fulton's on a 1-year deal, dude. Fulton's got 1 foot out the door. He's got a 1-year deal.
I'm saying based on I'm saying based on right now. I'm not talking about the long term wise. I'm talking about the next year. What I'm more excited about. I'm more excited about the secondary than I am our current DMs right now. That's all.
Yeah, well, our secondary needs a lot of filling in gaps right now. So you can make an argument for Downs as much as you can make an argument for Bain too. So,
yeah, and I'd be okay with either one of them. So, all right. And JD did say, JD. Obviously, you guys know JD is one of the best blocking tight ends of all time, if not the. He says the hardest players to block isn't the finesse guys; it's the guys that can beat with power, explosion, and finesse. So all three pack a punch all together. So yeah, you heard it there from JD, guys. And that's one thing I've seen a lot of people say, like, forget the T-Rex arm stuff. Like, look at the way he plays, look at his body, look at the strength he pulls off. I mean, yeah, if you watch Bain play, guys, look at his legs. I mean, you can see him there. I mean, look at the hamstring, man. Thick. Man. Anyway. All right, let's go to I should actually say pause after talking about Bane's hamstrings like that. All right, let's go to your next guy, Mekhi Lemon.
Another very, very controversial player, for much different reasons. Okay, I'm gonna get the combine out of the way again.
Amit Brown says you were down the pass rush way more than the DB room all season.
All season? Was that before or after we lost like 5 of the guys in our room, though? So let's not rewind the tape. Let's play it from today where we've lost our entire secondary room except for like 2 guys. That's a big difference. Like that's the point. Like, wasn't that I wasn't down on it this year. We've lost this year. We've lost those guys. So they're gone. It's an empty room. It's the Fresh Prince looking around his living room right now. That's Noel Williams in our secondary room. All right. Like, anyway, I mean, it's not even like people are laughing at us online. Like, we're a laughing stock because of our secondary is empty. Like,
that's because people didn't watch the football. They didn't see the last 3 games and see how great Noel.
You can't base your future on 3 games, dude. What do you mean?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I think those guys showed more.
It was promising. Like, it was promising, but like, I still want another guy because, like, Fulton can't stay healthy, and Noel.
Oh yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Up-and-coming player. He's an up-and-coming player.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yeah. Jay says our second pick goes secondary. I agree with that. Second or the 40th pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I get scared when I see cornerback at 9. That's becoming a really big trend too. I'm seeing CB at 9 all the time. Kyle Lemon. Okay, so his combine stuff's a little different. He measured well, which is good because people were a little weary about him being like 5'10" or lower. So, he's 5'11". Actually, his measurables are like step to step with Amon Ra, like inch to inch, weight pound to pound. Like, it's and that's his biggest player comp. But like he gets compare that a lot. So measured well. The podium thing raised a lot of eyebrows. Some people cared, some people didn't. I didn't like. It's like whatever. Who cares about that? So he had like weird movements when he was like, and weird eye contact when he was answering questions. Like, is it a bad thing? Like, I mean, it's not. Who cares? It was a little odd, but like, so what? He answered the question fine.
During his presser, he wasn't like making eye contact with reporters, or was it like an individual reporter? No.
No, it's the press conference where he's answering questions at the podium.
Huh.
He got a lot of crap for it.
Oh.
He just kind of like, I'll do an impression for you. He was like this. He was going like that, like while answering questions.
People just didn't like his demeanor.
People were just put off by it. They thought it was weird, which is whatever. Who cares? I don't care about that. Apparently, he bombed interviews.
That's what I heard. I knew that.
But I've read multiple reports. So I've read that disaster interviews, unprepared, just off. He just seemed off. Then I read then I saw I think it was Jesse Palmer. Someone else said like it wasn't the word, it wasn't awful. It just was kind of like weird. It was a little off-putting. His interviews were so a little different. They also said he's not going to drop because of it, so it wasn't that bad. So Steve Smith was like, every time you hear a player dropping off boards, I don't believe any of that nonsense. Like, I don't believe any of that stuff. Like, dropping off boards. Like, come on. I was just saying to Rob Parker, he was like, man, we got leagues where like 30% of the leagues are felons. You're going to get dropped off a board because you gave weird eye contact at the podium? That ain't happening. I laughed so hard. I was like, I mean, it's hilarious. He's like, we have like some bad dudes in this league doing bad things, like not misdemeanors, felonies, okay? And they're in the league. You're not dropping off anyone's board. He had that weird drill. I think the worst part was the drill for me, where he ran like they told him run 3-4 speed, and he ran like 25, like 20%. The rest of his combine with the workouts are fine. I watched the interview with him and Sims and Florio because I was like, you know what? I saw that and I was like, oh, let me watch him like talk to people, right? Like an interview with two guys and see how he is. He was fine. He's a very serious, like no nonsense guy. Like, so maybe that's part of it. He's just not the most like social. He's not faking it or putting on a face. He's just very serious. You'll love this though. One of his guys growing up, Marquise Lee. That's one of his guys growing up watching. I like that. I was like, that's great. Marquise Lee and Diggs were his like players that he like watched growing up. Like that's what you want to be.
He doesn't really play like Marquise Lee at all, though. That's interesting.
No, he doesn't. He just,
USC.
But he's fine. Exactly. They asked him about where to improve, and he actually agreed. He I want to approach the game with more of a professional mindset. I want to know my opponent and the defenses before I go out there, so I'm ultra prepared every week. It's a great answer. He was fine. He's fine. Maybe he was doing that stuff because he wants to fall to the Rams at 13 because he said he loves the beach. It's his favorite thing. So maybe he doesn't want to leave the beach. And he's a Raiders fan. Don't knock him for that. Just seems very serious and no nonsense. Let me go to the actual player himself, not that stuff. So he's 5'11", 192, plays bigger, high-end slot, but a lot of guys think he can still play outside. I think he's strong enough. He can take the press. Maybe not a full-time like X, but he can play outside. He can do it. Best in the slot, though. You're talking about guys like Amon-Ra and some of his player comps, like they're slot guys. A+ in physical routes. He positions really well. He tempos really well. He's got an extremely high IQ. He knows how to attack zones. His transition, a little different than Tate, his transition from receiver to runner is like that, right? So he becomes a runner really quickly. 85% receiving grade versus man. You can't guard him one-on-one. Contested catch, 93 percentile. So he's someone who, he's smaller, so okay, well, you can't throw him 50-50 balls. They did. They throw him fades. He was one of those like shorter receivers, not even short, average height. He was one of those average height receivers that gets like fade routes to them in the end zone, right? Drops 99 percentile, so he doesn't drop. 87 percentile separation score overall. 66 percentile against single coverage, not as good as Tate. Blocks, competitive, feisty. Has a little harder time against press because he's not the long, big guy, right? But hard worker, does all the things, can block. Player comps. Let's do that. So Amon-Ra, smaller Puka, Abuka-ish, Edelman. Those are his most. When I watched him, especially as a runner in his hands, the way he just refuses to go down, and he's like the strongest man alive, is like Steve Smith. I saw some of that in his game. Drafting him and outlook after we draft him. So I think he's strong enough to play on the outside. He's not a true X. So with him, you got your slot Z. Rice would have to play a bit more X, but I think what you have in him is Rice insurance. You have Rice insurance in case whatever happens to Rice happens to the worst part. He's gone next year. That's your slot for a very long time. I also think what you have in him, less than who he is on the field as far as Z, X, slot, I think his skill set. I think he's just a really good fit for what we like doing here. What Mahomes loves in a player, I think he'll really get along with him. And I think we've talked about this for a long time. He's a Kelsey replacement. And he's not 6'5", he's not mid-200s, but he has that type of receiving game to him. Middle of the field, don't know where he's going, finds a spot, catches the ball. He's that guy you look to at the end of the games to be like, I'm getting the ball to him, he'll get open. Like, just get open, find it. So he's not built like Kelsey, but he has that to him. So if you want to keep going further with that Kelsey type guy to take over and pass the torch, carry the torch, he'd be that kind of guy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like with our offense and having to find guys who find windows and whatnot, like yeah, he'd be great for us. That's either with Rice or without Rice. I mean, we saw major times where Juju would step up in that same kind of role even when Rice was on the field. And we don't have that right now. So I'd be okay with this. I'd be okay with it only if Tate was gone and Downs was gone. A lot of these guys are gone. I do think, like, sure, when you talk about character concerns, I know we always laugh at the character concern stuff, but I think this position room alone that we have, it's a young room, right? We only have Rice and Worthy in there right now. So it's a very and Jalen Royals, very young room. We don't need another young guy in there, and a young guy who has an attitude of some sorts. And I don't know what it is, right? Like we saw with the combine. That for me, I thought the worst part was the combine when he ran like they jogged, and it was a slow jog. I thought that was odd. And like if we are going to bring a receiver, I'd rather bring in someone who's like who's going to give an effort, who's going to give a crap. Not an LA kid who like has an attitude problem, had awful interviews. And I think of all position groups alone, I would say, for example, if it was defensive tackle, you have Chris Jones in there. Chris Jones would be able to, be a vet and like say what's up to the kid, right? Go into the room with Rashid Rice, who's got all this baggage. Worley's only his year 3, Royals year 2. You can't have another guy in a room, a guy who has some kind of attitude problem in a room where you already have young guys and guys who are already getting in trouble all the time. Yeah, you just can't. You can't have it. So like, I would say for that, I have him below Tyson even because I just don't want to deal with that stuff. I really don't. And like, I'm sure he's gonna be a talented kid, but that's a receiver I just don't want to be a part of.
A little role reversal here with character concerns, eh?
You're saying it's not a concern for you. But him going to a room that has the issues that it does have, that's not that you of all people, you're not concerned by that. I think that find it funny actually.
I would be more, and we talked about this last year with Pierce, and my flowers for that. I said the biggest problem is pattern. In all the different videos I watched about him, from insiders, guys that know people in the coordinator staff, he's a good teammate, and he's been nothing but a hard worker. So it's weird to me. It seems like out of character. For whatever reason, he did that. Maybe he's got some kind of interview anxiety, right? Like, just like we said, not everyone's a good tester with Tate. Not everyone's a good interviewer, right? So, I mean, that's not the craziest thing. Well, first of all, JD, those aren't my comparisons. I like the ball in his hand, Steve Smith aspect to it. That's a very specific part of his game. All the other comps came from scouts, NFL people. Like, those are what people compare him to. And Puka, let's be honest, by the way, Puka wasn't Puka when he got drafted, okay? Puka was supposed to be like a number 3 or 4 receiver on someone's team. Puka became something way more than that, right? Actually, most of the guys I named weren't like supposed to be that coming out of school, right? Edelman, no. C. Smith was a late. He was a late pick.
Second or third, right?
Third round, but he wasn't like top 10, right?
No.
So yeah, it's interesting that most of those guys were not. None of those guys were first rounders. But yeah, if any of my reading, any of my watching, if I heard like, some people say he's got an attitude problem in the locker room, I would be out, dude. Yeah, you're right. Me of all people, you're right.
But okay, but forget about the interviews aspect. For me, it was the on-field work. That's like your biggest job, like showcase. and you decide to do that, every football player knows when a coach is telling you to run 3/4 speed, you don't run at 2/4 speed. I mean, that was a very odd thing.
Oh, you look.
And that to me is like a huge red flag.
Not a good look. It is a red flag, but it's not a pattern. That's my only point.
Not a pattern.
I would,
not
I
a
would be a
pattern.
lot more. I would be a lot more out if it was a pattern.
Okay. I mean, I think our room doesn't need another thing to take a chance on that, especially number 9. Because that receiver room is already very fragile. Let me say that's a good word. Fragile is our receiver room.
I mean, it'll come down to when they meet with him. So if they meet with him and we end up taking him, it's because he knocked it out of the park with them, right? I don't think they're going to come out of that room saying if he was a weird kind of like bullshitter, they would still be like, let's do it anyway. You're right. I do think we've said this for the last few months because of the problems we've been having with our players. I think they would be a lot more sensitive toward character concerns. So if he did have those red flags in an interview with them, because do you think Veach cares how he interviewed with the Buccaneers? No, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about it. But if there's any signs of that when we interview you, we're going to have problems, right? So if he knocks it out of the park and is just a good dude in the interview and they find that good enough to take him in there, I think that's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, it all comes down to how he interviews with us, as our guys, which is probably why Atlanta took Pierce. Because when he went with them, they're like, it's a good guy. It's a good guy. Like they asked Steve Smith about that. They're like, do you make anything of this? He's like, man, when that coaching staff got together for beers later on, they were like, it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of a little weird in that interview. But like, was it like a take off my board? He was weird. Like, nah, he goes, I don't think that's happening. They kind of laugh about it later on, probably to each other. Yeah, probably. It was probably weird if it's in like his podium stuff. But like I said, if you watch the Sims and Florio, he gives thoughtful answers. He actually gives answers. But yeah, he doesn't look like he's ecstatic and happy to be there. And who knows what kind of social anxiety he's got. I don't know. We don't know what's going on in people's heads nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
I don't care about the social anxiety aspect. I care about more about the on-field stuff. Like I just thought that was just odd. Like that whole thing was weird. And who knows?
Yeah,
maybe
that was the worst part for me too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he wants to go to a certain place, and maybe he wants to fall off certain boards. Like maybe he wants to go to LA or something and pick 13. I don't know. And just stay in Los Angeles.
Yeah, 100%. If they said, "What do you like to do?" He said, "Not a lot, just football on the beach." I was like, damn, really? I was like, wow. That's like, I was like, man, if like all you said was the beach, just walking on the beach and he's like, just walking on the beach, taking it all in, just being there like on the beach and present with the water. I was like, man, this guy's a big beach fan. It's reminding me like Ken from Barbie. I love beach.
I love beach. Yeah.
So I was like, man, if you like it that much, that's enough to tank a drill to go to stay at the Rams, dude.
Yeah, I mean, shoot.
It'd be a number 3 with Puka and Adams.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Adams is probably going after this year.
Well, there you go. Even better.
If we're talking at 29, then okay, but not at 9. Kyle Harrison says that. JD says, do we think he's a number 9 pick, though? I don't think he's going to go before us. I think he's going to be a lock to go. He'll be there at number 9 when we pick. I think he goes shortly after us.
Maybe.
That's based on mock drafts I've seen. I've seen him go anywhere from 9 to like 15.
Yeah, I mean, you can go earlier. Some of those antics, people dropped him down. But before that combine, I saw him go as high as 5.
Yeah. Before the combine, there were some arguments about having him over Tate.
Because look, if you don't have an elite quarterback who likes throwing 70 yards downfield with a good O-line, we have those things. That's fantastic. A lot of teams don't. So if you want a QB-friendly receiver who's going to get open in the middle of the field, find soft spots, and become your quarterback's best friend, I can see why you maybe would go him over Tate if you're like the Browns or something. You're like, we just need a guy who can like catch the ball for like 7 yards, man. Like we need that. We need just a short, intermediate, dependable guy. I could see them doing that. And from what Palmer and McShay said, they really don't feel like he's going to drop down. If anything, people were ecstatic about his measurables because people were scared he was going to be under 5'11". So the fact that he was 5'11" in the end really like satisfied people.
Yeah. And as far as our drawback is drafting, and I know he doesn't play like our typical like short dudes. It's another sub 6 foot kind of guy, and I think people want a bigger body guy like a Cornell Tate type at this point.
Yeah, he's not short. 5'11's fine.
Yeah, sub 6. Yeah. All right. Let's go. So Lemon fits the weird SoCal culture. Let him go there rather than KC. The weird SoCal.
Maybe that's why I like him.
Maybe. All right. So final guy for the night. This is all the other 3 picks we talked about. Guys are going to be in the top 10, top 15. This guy's more of a round 3, round 4 guy, and I decided to go with him before we brought in Kairos Funga today. And yeah, so I still think, like I said, there's a need for defensive tackles. We only have 3 on the roster right now, so having another one be great. This is round 3, round 4 territory. So let's start looking at D tackle prospects in this draft. One name that might jump out, and honestly, it might surprise some people, is Dante Corleone, the massive defensive tackle out of Cincinnati, also known as the Godfather. His nickname is the Godfather, Don Corleone. So yeah. Love me some Dante Corleone or Don Corleone, but the Godfather is his nickname. So amazing nickname. So right off the bat, he's like a top D tackle for me to go get. So obviously, with the lack of defensive tackle that we have in our room, it'd be great to have another guy, and he's around 3'4" guy. So Corleone is 335-pound nose tackle. His game is built around one thing: controlling the line of scrimmage. He plays incredible leverage at 6 feet tall, fires off the ball low, and once he gets his hands inside a blocker, he's incredibly hard to move. That makes him the type of player who can anchor against double teams, clog rushing lanes, and free up linebackers to flow to the football. And if you watch Chiefs defense closely, obviously we all do, it's a role that matters a lot in Spags' scheme. He loves defensive linemen who can occupy blocks, keep the second level clean, especially when teams try to attack Kansas City with the run game. Corleone's ability to sit at the 0 technique or the 1 technique and absorb multiple blockers fits perfectly into the rotational nose tackle role. But what makes Corleone more interesting than your typical space-eating nose tackle is that he's not just a statue in the middle. Earlier in his career at Cincinnati, he showed real disruptive ability as a pass rusher. So he's not just your run-plugging guy. And very similar to Kairos Funga, who can actually is not just a run-stuffing dude. During his career in Cincinnati, he generated close to 30 pressures in a season. In one of the seasons, he generated 30 pressures, collapsed pocket with pure power. Not a refined pass rusher, but most of it comes from bull rushes and quick gap penetration. But the strengths and burst are there to develop more. Raw power is legit. He put up 485-pound bench press and a 605-pound squat. So he's a tough dude, strong guy. And that obviously that tape shows up on his tape how strong he is. There are some concerns. He dealt with a few injuries and even a blood clot scare in 2024. And obviously we've had evidence of us taking guys with those type of scares, medical red flag type stuff later in the draft. Trey Smith being one of them. And his weight has fluctuated at times, so conditioning has been something the NFL teams will probably monitor. But when he's healthy and in shape, he's an all-around guy. Multiple all-conference honors. And just a really good player who can clog the middle and be a pass rush force up the middle. So with a high upside nose tackle, rare strength, you can contribute early as a run defender, and over time you work with him, he can become a pass rush force from the interior with guys like Jones, ONL, and Funga. He can be a great guy to throw in that mix because you can never have enough of those dudes. And of course, why would you not want to draft a defensive tackle who's called the Godfather in the middle there, at almost 350 pounds? So yeah, I know we drafted Funga or signed Funga today to that big contract, but it's only 3 defensive tackles in that room. And I think round 3 or 4, we need dudes who are young and who can be rotational guys. Because as we saw this year, right? Oh, well, now we drafted in the second round, and he was gone by week 4. We need other guys, and we had to go, with our tail between our legs and call Mike Pinnell to come back to Kansas City. I mean, like, that's the position we were in last year. So based on all the reports of Brett Veach talking this offseason about they tend to overhaul the defensive line room and make it a pivotal thing they go at, I think this is one dude that they will go at in the mid rounds of this draft. Not a top 9 guy, but a round 3, round 4 guy. So what do you make of the Godfather, Don Corleone?
You just love that, huh? You love saying that.
I do.
I like Corleone. So this is interesting. This is what I heard from, I forgot who it was, man. I love the quote though. He was talking about D tackles in his draft. And he's like, D tackles that stand up and control a gap fit the 6th round player. A D tackle who can do that, but also make plays solo and not just set up others, 3rd or 4th round D tackle. Not do those things, but not only influence line of scrimmage, but to compress and push the line into the quarterback's lap, round 2 to 3. Top D tackles can do all those things, but just create the pass rush for themselves, just purely from being a destructive force. Not just quick penetrating, but some guys are just powerful, destructive, taking on double team players. They're like, those are top 10, top 20 first round players. Based on that, he is a round 2 to 3 player. He influences line of scrimmage. He compresses it, pushes it into the QB's lap. There was one play I was listening to one of the podcasts I love for draft breakdowns, or I'm gonna watch it later. It was a Texas Tech play. It was like a delayed handoff. He said he walks the center back into the backfield like 3 yards to the point where like the running back just didn't know how to get around it. He didn't make the tackle himself, but like it was like a peekaboo game where the running back just didn't know where to go because he pushed him that far back into the backfield. That's cool. I'm gonna watch it later. The blood clots, I mean, he came back to play this year after it. Will it impact the stock? Maybe. Maybe he'll drop down a little more. I know he signed a defensive tackle, but I don't think that will impact if we think there's a good defensive tackle. And he's kind of like Tonga in a way that he's a true nose, but he can rush a passer. He's got pass rush chops. I think his short arms hold him back a bit because he can't disengage from blocks as easy. And it kind of just shortens the amount of moves he has, right? But low pads, heavy, but he can move. He's got quick hands and quick feet. Just a tank, right? I mean, he's a leverage monster. That's what you want there. So if you want a good rotation, let's say he drops, because I think where we are right now at this given moment, we have a lot of things to go for, and one of the few needs that we actually filled so far was a D tackle, kind of like him in the regard that he can do both rush the passer and stuff the run. So yeah, I like him. I think he's I would take him if he fell a little bit. I don't know about the 2nd or 3rd round anymore because of where our needs are at.
Yeah, from what I've seen the rounds 3 to 4 is what I've seen. I don't know about round 2. But I've seen rounds 3 to 4 is what I've seen online. But yeah, and again, I would say D tackles may have gone a little bit down because of who we signed today. Tonga, I guess I was calling him Fonga. Tonga.
Did you call him Fonga? I don't know. Did you? I didn't hear that.
I guess, which you all said I did. Which he's all over it. But signing Tonga today, it takes D tackle a little bit down, especially a nose tackle type of guy like this. But you can never have enough of them. And like last year with O&L getting hurt, like I mean, we're depleted in that room right now. It's literally like bringing in Tonga is 3 guys now in that defensive tackle room. We still need more guys. So rounds 3 to 4, if he's there, I'm all about it. So yeah, and of course, guy's name, the nickname's the Godfather, crying out loud. And then you have the Dominic Orange, Big Citrus. It's another good nickname. So it's a really good nickname defensive tackle room in that mid-tier, mid-round guys.
Yeah, Lemon's nickname is.
What's Lemon's nickname?
Little Citrus.
No, it's not.
Yeah, people say draft Little Citrus, draft Big Citrus.
Really? People call him Little Citrus?
I mean, I don't know if it's the actual nickname that he grew up with, but that's what a lot of people in the draft circuits are calling him now.
Ah, interesting. Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
so if you draft him and Dominic Orange, you can just draft the emojis. Was that the lemon while the orange?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think there's a Godfather emoji, man.
No, this hand, the hand emoji.
True. Yeah, I guess you can do that. Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, so Dante Corleone, the Godfather, Cincinnati. Dude, look at his tape. I'm sure you guys like. I mean, last year we talked about a lot of the defensive tackles. I remember Deon Walker's the guy we talked about, and we thought we were gonna get him like. I think the Bills got him round 4, and like he was a stud for them this year and made some big plays against us. And yeah, I think he might have actually made the all rookie team actually, or maybe second team all rookie, but he was solid for them. So like, we like the detail. We find the gems of the defensive tackle rooms on the show. So that's a guy to look at. So go look at Dante Corleone's tape. Also, Cincinnati guy. Kelsey loves a Cincinnati dude, so maybe he vouches for him. I don't know. But yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, that does it for us on this Monday show. We appreciate everybody coming in. And I was looking through the news to see if anything happened in the Chiefs world as we were on, but nothing new. So maybe Wednesday there's more. But yeah, guys, that does it for us on this Monday show presented by FanDuel. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Might be a later show, at around 9:15. I might do a pre-recorded show. It's my girlfriend's birthday, so I got to figure out how I'm gonna finagle that. So it might be either a late show or it might be a pre-recorded show. But again, guys, give your love to JD and send all your prayers to the Dunn family. I know he was on here for a little bit in the chat, but he's watching, he's looking. So if you guys have anything nice to say, any prayers and blessings, send his way into the Dunn family. That'll go a long way for him and the show. So, but yeah,
100%.
Yep. And we will see you guys.
If you skip out or screw that time on the birthday, you're gonna have some character concerns.
Yeah. I would, yeah. But no, I have a dinner at 6:30 EST, so I want to make sure I have room to make sure I can get to the. I do a live show, so I do a live show. It'll be like a 9:15, probably a quick one, but it'll be a 9:15 one. So yeah. But anyway, prayer to the Duns and JD. But yeah, well, we love you guys, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. So love y'all.
Love y'all.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.